Percy, Rooney, Rio.
They were old players. Like Ferdinand was old though. They're getting on a bit.
But
That's the thing.
He worked. But you need to remember, at that point, we won the league. At that point.
Yeah, but your squad wasn't that good at the time.
Yeah, but I think Mourinho would have worked well with those older heads. I think he likes working with older players at the end of the day.
He'd wanted to splash the cash though and try and replace the older players. Like you got like Ferdinand, Evra. They're all like Ashley Young. He probably would have got. They're all like the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, but when's Mourinho ever been like signed like younger players?
It would have been. Well,
I'd love to look into.
He just bought players in his prime.
You know, I think Mourinho. I've noticed like whenever there's like an upcoming hot talent or a big player in a team that's got loads of attention, he seems to fall out with them, doesn't he? Like when Pogba at Man United, he fall
Martial
out
as well. Didn't he fall out with Martial?
Yeah.
No, he's always constantly falling out with players. I just don't really see.
Who do you think the players can fall out with at Spurs?
It looks like Ali. It looks like Dele Alli.
I don't think he'll fall out with Kane.
He can't afford to.
Yeah.
Or Son, really.
But Dele Alli, I think, like he could fall out of him because he for me, I think
he does have a hot head, doesn't he?
He does have a bit of an attitude, yeah.
Who?
And sometimes I think
Dele Alli.
Oh, Kane.
It reminds me of, remember how Rooney used to be back in the day?
Oh yeah.
He'd get like yellow cards, red cards.
You ask for a transfer request every so often.
Yeah.
But taking it back to, I think obviously we spoke a lot about Spurs. But I also want to quick mention Chelsea. I think Chelsea, to be fair, well, it's been a bit of a mixed week for them.
I think this is covering paper over the cracks with Chelsea.
Yeah, it was a good result. They did deserve to win. They played really well, but what happened in midweek has kind of just took the shine off.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's sent them back to earth in a way. Obviously, they got the win over Tottenham, which they need to get into the top half so they could qualify for the Champions League. I won't call it top 4 because it's who knows what's going to happen with City.
But that's the thing, though. Like I look at, let's just forget about. But not say forget about the league title, because for me that's all done and dusted. I think
we've got 4 games. We've won our next 4 games. We've won it.
Exactly, it's basically done. But me looking at the title, let's say the top 4 race or top 5 race.
Yeah, top 5. Yeah, do it like that.
It's so interesting. I think it's honestly been, like for me,
it's been the tightest in years for definite. Obviously, you got Leicester up there now. Obviously, they would have been there a few years back.
Because you've got a pool of teams.
Sheffield United and Wolves.
Between 4th and 11th was 8 points.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a pool of teams, for me, from Leicester to...
Not Leicester are safe.
Let's say...
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Wolves, Arsenal. I think you've got a pool of teams that...
Burnley level on points with Arsenal.
Exactly, but for me...
Everton are a point behind as well.
For me, Burnley, they've got a good run of form.
Watch Burnley have a mad one at the end of the season and just go right.
Well,
yeah. Chris Wood just gets somewhere.
To be fair, Burnley always seem to do better in the second half of the season. I've noticed that.
It's just that style of play, isn't it? Like that West Brom.
Because they're conserving their energy. Because they're not like
exactly.
high workers. They don't like run for the ball every so often. They'll wait to get the ball to them.
Start the season when teams play football against them, they struggle. But obviously, fatigue and tiredness sets in over a season. Burnley don't play that type of football, so their type of work starts to come in then, and teams haven't got the physicality. I reckon
because they're not pressing. Like they don't press. They don't press teams. They just sit back and defend.
You've got Burnley soon, haven't you?
I'm not sure. I know I've got Watford next. Then the second leg of the Champions. I'm not sure. To be fair,
I'm sure you got Burnley soon because for me,
no, you got FA Cup.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
for
Chelsea
me,
after the cup.
For Liverpool, I can see that being the game you slip up on.
You wish, but anyway.
Obviously you do wish, but like,
I think they're already by Burnley, choice.
But I don't know what team. Burnley.
Well, this is for the unbeaten run by this, but you'd hope by then we won the league. But this would stop the unbeaten run.
No, that's more what I'm talking about. The unbeaten run.
I mean, no.
What do you think? Do you think Liverpool will finish unbeaten? Honestly,
I mean, now we may as well switch to Liverpool while we're on them now. But okay, so we beat West Ham 3-2. It was a tight game.
Yeah. Very tight game.
It was, yeah. I mean, I come back from work like because on Monday evening I work late, so I came back in and Liverpool losing 2-0. I was like, oh fucking hell, oops, that was bad. So I was a bit nervous. Not gonna lie to you.
Just dodgy mistakes that made
Well,
West Ham.
Fabianski had a shocker.
They should have won.
The first goal from I saw, he should have done better with the Wijnaldum header, and then Mo Salah shot straight at him and he just went through his legs.
But that shows, for me, about Liverpool,
You're
they're not.
know how to play it, are you?
No, but like
You don't have to.
that shows that Liverpool aren't like a dominating team. They play good
But you don't
football at
need
the
to
end of
be.
the. Yeah, but if you want to be one of the like Premier League greats at the end of the day, you need to
Yeah, but if we
be
win the-
known for like absolutely dominating teams.
We have
that are
dominated
towards one-
teams. We dominated City when we beat them 3-1. We did, to be fair.
Yeah, I know,
We
but
dominated you,
but like the
Southampton.
yeah, but in the teams lower down in the table, you need to like. I'm surprised that with West Ham's current form, I'm surprised they scored 2 goals at the end of the day.
Well, they didn't do badly against Man City when they played. I know they lost 2-0, but they didn't play badly. But they didn't play they didn't play too badly. I know, obviously, it's whatever you can get against City, but it's like it's what it is, isn't it? I mean, we won in the end 3-2. I mean, Mane scored the final goal after that. Mane's a brilliant player.
I think he's one of the best in the league. You know,
He's the best ever front three by a long way. I mean, Salah's done alright this season. Firmino's been a bit on and off. I know he hasn't scored a home game, but he's tried as hard as he can. And he's had good moments this season, obviously. But
I've got a question for you two.
Go
News starting to break now because people may not know about don't know a lot about football, but Timo Werner plays for
RB Leipzig in Germany.
He's been linked with Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool at the moment. Obviously Bayern Munich and.
But what I've heard about that is he's been all over Liverpool. He's been praising the way we play.
Yeah.
He's basically come and get me play. He wants to join.
But I'll tell you this now. Ask you two now. They said he's got release clause only.
It's like 50 million, isn't it?
It's 51 mil, but it expires in April. So people need to get.
I don't know what you're going to say, but yeah.
We're not going to sign him.
Well,
You won't. You're not
Well,
even
we know-
I know we're in for him,
We won't
You don't get him.
but if Liverpool are looking at him, which one of the for you two your point of view, which one of the front three would go?
No. I know what you're trying to say here, but Firmino wouldn't leave. Obviously, you put Werner where Firmino plays, but you just drop Firmino back into a number 10 and just go 4-2-3-1. Simple.
It's not that simple.
It is.
It is not that
It's
simple.
basically how it's a similar position to where he plays now.
Who in the midfield gets dropped out then? Because apparently Jordan Henderson's the player of the year.
With Wijnaldum, it would be.
I thought Wijnaldum was one
Yeah,
of
he hasn't-
Liverpool's
he
best midfielders.
He's a brilliant player, but one hasn't signed a new deal. No one knows what's happening with him yet.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Not yet. No, you need to look at Liverpool news, mate.
Oh, wow.
He hasn't signed a new contract yet, so whether or not he'll re-sign, I mean, I hope he does
How long
because
has he got left on his
I think it
contract?
runs out this season. I think.
Okay. That's
Let
very
me just double check
interesting.
in case I've got that completely wrong. But
What are you thinking? What would you do if you were a Liverpool fan? If you were Mr. Jurgen Klopp?
Werner.
Yeah.
I think. Well, if they put the money in for it, then I mean they could get. You'd only strengthen their team, wouldn't it? I
but
mean,
who out that front three would you replace?
the thing is,
Because you got Mane.
that's the thing. They're very irreplaceable. You can't really replace them because they all click so much. You know, would Werner come in and click straight away?
that's an
I
issue
think
I see with
he
it,
would
yeah.
improve Liverpool's side. You know,
Oh yeah, he definitely would.
like
Yeah.
he would add that because you got Mane and Salah. They cut in. They're inside forwards, not natural wingers. You've got Firmino that he's the creative force. He drops it in. He presses. He starts the press when Liverpool lose the ball. But I think Werner would offer that like that target man, not target man, but because he plays off the defence. But
yeah, something to aim at. Yeah.
but actually,
Because
think
he's
about it.
running them with pace. Obviously, he's quite a fast player. His finishing's frightening.
He's a complete forward at the end of the day.
It's
And
almost-
if you had that kind of striker, looking at all the teams below, because all the teams below have been, for me, they've been bang average. You've got City, obviously the problems with the Champions League there. Leicester, the hot and cold.
They're not experienced enough yet. They've got to get used to each other, obviously, because it's a fairly young team, isn't it? So
Then you've got Spurs, United, Chelsea.
all in transition, yeah. We
Sheffield
could
United.
dominate for a long time, yeah, I'd say.
No, I'll tell you this now. I think Liverpool will dominate for a couple of years. You know, it hurts me to say, but I think Liverpool will, because looking at, you never know what could happen with City. City might lose out on in a worst case scenario, City lose out on Champions League football. You've got players like De Bruyne, Aguero, Silva. The list goes on. Leaving potentially in one window.
I mean, David Silva's gone anyway,
Exactly.
so he's gone. So so the way with Werner, it would. I think you could make that work as well. Like have a front four. I mean, and Firmino would be the one who'd be like sacrificed in that regard, but you'd still play him. I mean, obviously then you should have Henderson and Fabinho in midfield, and they'd be the ones who'd sit and defend.
Do you think that's a bit too top heavy though?
Well, you wouldn't play it all the time, would you? Maybe you'd rotate a bit. I mean, I think Firmino's the oldest out the front. I mean, if he'd be the one who'd probably get a rest, maybe.
So what about players like who else been linked with Liverpool? We've got Jadon Sancho's been linked with Liverpool.
Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe 2020. That's the big one, isn't it now?
I don't think he'll go to Liverpool.
I don't think he will, but I tell you, imagine though. My God, mate.
I don't want to imagine,
mate. That'd be frightening.
Varane on the left.
Salah on the right.
Mbappe.
Honestly, you'd be crying. You'd be crying, mate.
Well.
Can you just pat him on the head because you should both be hugging each other in like horror.
He's getting too excited.
Yeah, mate. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I mean, we'll sum at Liverpool here. It's a hard fought win. I admit we rode our luck at times, but
haven't West Ham got a really tough couple of fixtures coming up?
Yeah, we told me and Kingy told you the other week, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're like, West Ham will be all right. Or Villa will probably go down. No, well, they've got who West Ham got next actually. Let's have a quick look.
West Ham.
Yeah, go on West Ham.
Because
their fixtures is terrible. I mean, they've got
Southampton,
Arsenal, Wolves, Spurs, Chelsea,
Newcastle, Burnley.
You know what? I think I agree with you guys. I think West Ham are down. You know,
the Hammers are going. Got any more? Then United's penultimate game, and then it's horrible.
The league's coming to a close. You know, it's gone really quickly. You know.
You think that, yeah, I mean, it has gone quick, but unlike everyone obviously thought West Ham would be finishing top half at least. Look, find out in this group for the top four. The top four, so they can get maybe Champions League or the worst Europa League, but they're not even getting that, and they could potentially even drop out of the league now. So it's tough. It's tough for West Ham fans to take. I feel sorry for them a little bit, but
I'm really surprised that has Bowen been playing for West Ham?
Who?
He's on the bench.
Jared Bowen. Yeah.
He came off again. I know he came as a sub for in the Liverpool game, but he didn't really do anything.
For me, that's play. If they get relegated to the Championship, I think they should stick with Moyes because for me,
because of that,
that level Matt.
You got to, because they've been chopping and changing the managers that often. They've got to stick with someone.
Have the same attitude that Fulham had, for example, with Scott Parker. They know that he can do a job at West Ham. West Ham fans love him. Well, I don't know why, but
the thing is though, will the players that they've got, do they have the mentality to want to stay in the Championship? Because I think the majority of them would probably want to just jump ship. To be fair, because their attitude is pretty bad.
And also,
what will happen
with that big of a stadium? That can't be a Championship stadium.
That is a terrible stadium. It's one of the worst. I've seen it on TV, and it honestly looks one of the worst stadiums to watch a football match.
But it's at the end of the day, it's an Olympic stadium, so
it's bigger than your stadium.
Doesn't matter about the size. Where's the atmosphere?
Where's your famous atmosphere?
Well, they haven't got any. It's ridiculous. You're so far from the pitch because obviously there's YouTube videos. People obviously react to West Ham matches, all that sort of stuff. And when you watch the game, it's so far away.
Can't hear it.
There's no point really.
There is a point. Look, they come to support West Ham.
Well, yeah, they've got it, haven't they? And I just feel sorry that they lost Upton Park. Obviously, it was a better stadium for them.
So obviously,
anyway,
we've recapped a few games. But obviously, we've got to get through a few others. So obviously, the first one after those two was Crystal Palace Newcastle. Didn't really watch it, but I think it was Andros Townsend that scored. Am I right? Van Arnold, sorry.
That was a free kick.
Free kick.
Oh yeah, it was a brilliant free kick. Yeah.
Obviously a good win for Palace because I know they were struggling a bit. Newcastle, a bit of alarm bells ringing. I mean, they should be all right, but they need to start picking up a bit of form.
Next season, I'd be unless because there have been a lot of rumours with new ownership.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the Sun reporting it, but I've heard that.
Don't read the Sun.
I've heard that the Saudi interest of the takeover has cooled down a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm now looking at other clubs such as United, such as.
Again, take anything you read with the Sun with a pinch of salt. They're just scumbags.
You're not hearing. Well, you shouldn't really be hearing about. You shouldn't really be hearing a lot about takeovers because it shouldn't really be open to the public like that.
Yeah, yeah.
If it has cooled down, I'll be really worried if I was a Newcastle fan.
I think with Newcastle fans, I think they've probably just accepted the way how badly the club's run by this point. I mean, I've watched True Geordie, and he's obviously quite a diehard Newcastle fan. And from when he like talks about Newcastle, he just seems resigned to their fate. Really, he's like, oh, well,
it's such a shame, like because Newcastle they're up there with teams of history.
They haven't won a lot of trophies in the last since the new decade, the new millennium, and all that sort of stuff. But they're a big team. They've had some brilliant players. Like you got Shearer, you've got Gascoigne, you've got that many brilliant players they've had in their squad, and they've just. You think for a club of that size, they'd be at least top half, challenging for those honours anyway.
For me, like the best thing that could happen to Newcastle is, like who we'll talk about probably next, is to go like a Wolves route, like
take on like Chinese, or not Chinese owners, but
what Wolves did well, like because I remember when I was studing at Wolves, and who was the manager before?
Santo.
I'm sure it was.
What was it?
Paul Lambert.
Paul Lambert. You're right. Yeah.
It was coming towards the end of this end of the season. Wolves were safe.
I remember mid-table, weren't they? But mid-table.
Yeah, and
playoffs.
I remember the last game of the season, Wolves were playing a back five.
Yeah.
And obviously, we don't know. We're not on the Wolves board, but I think by then they knew that they were bringing in Nuno, who also plays a back five. And I think when they brought in Nuno had a dream to build a football team.
Just stop.
But Nuno had a plan at the end of the day, and I think he had a 3-year plan to get Wolves to
where they are now.
Where they are now. I think Newcastle, if they got relegated, they should. No offense, Steve Bruce, he's done well with what he's got.
I'm still surprised they got Rafa Benitez, but
I think they need the manager who looks at what they've got, who's got a system, a plan to use the facilities they've got and like succeed.
They've got to use the fans. The fans are passionate fans. They've got to use them properly because when they're on form, Newcastle fans can be useful team to get behind. That's
the problem with a lot of football clubs these days. Like you just got either the best managers are the best managers that have got a plan for their football club. So you've got teams like Liverpool,
City,
Leicester,
everyone, yeah.
Sheffield United. They've all got a plan.
A game plan, and they'll stick to that for the majority of the season unless they need to change it specifically for certain teams.
But I feel like all the clubs below that, they just don't have. They just play. It just feels like they play formations. They've just got.
They just wander along.
Play attacking or defensively.
Yeah.
And
some will do better than others, but ultimately, those sorts of teams will get relegated, or they'll underachieve. Well. I mean, Newcastle, they haven't scored the lowest scorers in the Premier League. I mean,
and how much did you pay for Joe Linton?
About 40 million for him, and he's only scored 3 in all competitions, which is
that's a flop of a signing.
But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from the Newcastle talk.
Next game was Burnley Bournemouth. It was a pretty resounding win for Burnley, 3-0 victory, and
Vibra's started to.
I heard that was there was a lot of problems with VAR in that game.
Was there?
Yeah.
I know that
Eddie Howe was complaining at the end of the game, and from what I didn't see too much of the game, but from what it was, they were quite unfortunate to lose by 3. So
Burnley won't care, and their chances of maybe possibly having a battle with some of the big guns to get into the top 4. I mean, I think it's very unlikely, but you just never know.
They could fight off for the Europa League, maybe
I think it will go down to the final day,
It's just so unpredictable.
It's that close.
All it takes is a couple. If you're in that race, if you have a couple of 2 or 3 bad games, and another team wins 2 or 3 bad games, they can be right behind you, back on ahead of you.
Look at Chelsea, for example.
Yeah.
Chelsea, like with Man United. Man United are 3 points off Chelsea now.
Yeah.
How far were we at the start of January?
I mean, Chelsea were running away with it for quite until recently.
Exactly. Like it's
that
close,
tight.
and like Spurs right behind United, Sheffield United and Wolves are right behind United. And
Arsenal being on the same points. And
I mean, there's something I'll get onto about Man United when we get down to them about how, for me, they should be in the top 4. Just all the points or the games that they've not performed in. But Burnley. So good win for them. Obviously played well, and Vidra's doing well, scoring goals as well, which seems to be scoring, which is good.
I'm happy for him because for me, it's like I always thought it was one of those, those championship.
He's been in the championship for Watford, and I think he was at Derby. And he's got 21 goals for them, and he's not seemed to hit the Premier League that well. But obviously he's now starting to try and get goals for himself in the Premier League. So
you do get those kind of strikers, don't you? Like
Ebanks Blake at Wolves.
He scored a few in the Premier League.
But not as consistent as the Championship.
Then you got Mitrovic, who's now at Fulham. He didn't score in the Premier League. Off the top of my head, Dwight Gale.
Oh yeah, he is one. Yeah,
he's a championship striker.
That's your best example you've probably there. But
yeah, but Bournemouth I think will stay up though, even with this 3-0. I mean, obviously we've said West Ham would stay up, would probably
we
go
need
down
to be
now.
Careful though.
Honestly,
definitely.
We're going down to the final day as well. That's too
relegation.
Yeah, that's too hard to predict.
I think the bottom 2 are set really. Watford and Norwich and Watford, I think.
Obviously.
So you think West Ham have got a chance?
It'll between West Ham, Villa, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Those 3, I think.
Well, speaking of Brighton, we'll move on to their game against Sheffield United, which was at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1-1, which I personally was quite surprised about because I thought Sheffield United, considering the form they are, and I know Brighton was struggling a lot. I think that's a really positive point for Brighton.
Yeah, it's a good point for Brighton.
I heard in the interviews after, obviously with the draw, they're now, I think what are they on 40 points now, Sheffield United?
That's what
That's what they said. No, that was Chris Wilder said that was what he was aiming for at the start of the season, and obviously they've gone well beyond that.
Yeah. That should be.
So,
I think when you come up, I think it's all good having these ambitions, but obviously when you're a newly promoted team, the main thing is to get to that 40-point margin, which they've done, and now that gives them a free hand now to push on and really focus on maybe even getting in the top 5. I mean, I think Champions League will be difficult for them, but Europa League definitely.
It's out of the question at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it's so close between Chelsea and Everton. I mean, there's only 8 points. You can't rule anyone out there that they could get Champions League. I mean, if there was only a few games to go, obviously, but clearly because there's 11 games to go, there's still a big chance for any of those teams to push on. And all it takes, if Everton were to win the next 2 or 3 games, get 6-7 points. Chelsea have a couple of poor results, United or Spurs, because I know Man United have got a tough running coming up. And very big. This is a big start of the season, big part of the season for them. It could really just get even closer, and it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens because it's just so close.
It's quite tight, definitely.
But for Brighton, I think it's a good result, and I think that helps them in the relegation fight.
The only thing I'll say about Brighton is I think they're the only team in the Premier League who haven't won a game in the calendar year yet. I mean, it shouldn't worry them too much, but they probably do need to get a win from somewhere anyway.
Those records, you need to really be careful because it can, if you do stay up in the Premier League, it can massively backfire in the season.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're unbeaten in the last 3.
Well, the thing is, they've got some tough games coming up. They've got Palace. Well, from the day of recording, it's tomorrow.
Must-win game.
They've got Wolves after that. Then Arsenal, Leicester, Man United. They've got some tough. I mean, it won't be until Norwich where they've got 4 games where it's gonna be quite tight. So it'd be difficult for them, but you'd have to see how they go really. But yeah, that's how that. Hang on, let's just get this sorted out. There we go.
Next game was Southampton, Aston Villa. Villa. I mean, I remember actually looking at some of the stats earlier. I mean, Villa struggled. I think they didn't have a shot till the 60th minute.
It's a dreadful game from a Villa point of view.
Villa was so poor, and Southampton was very comfortable. It could have been more really. I think Southampton they've had a few little rocky results last couple of games, but they've definitely seemed to be fine, and I think they could even push on. I mean, they're only 10 points behind Chelsea, but the only problem is I just think defensively they're not good enough to.
I agree with that.
I think what Southampton need to do now,
by centre halves,
they just need to build up upon
what Hasenhüttl's done.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, bearing in mind, you go back to say before Christmas when they played Leicester and they lost 9-0. That honestly, the team's changed so much since then.
We need to be so careful. I think Southampton need to be so careful because they are known for being a selling club.
Oh yeah, I mean, so mostly to us. But
so you've got players like Ings potentially going to be in the Euros. If he has good Euros.
Again, we mention Ings every podcast now. I mean,
if he does make the Euro squad, I think clubs are going to be knocking on Southampton's door.
Oh yeah. Ward-Prowse is probably, you can say, is another one. He's
exactly.
He's a good leader for. Isn't he Southampton captain? Isn't he?
I think he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's quite a key player for them, and they've obviously got Redmond, but he's been linked with basically the whole of London really in the past. But whether or not he'll leave, who knows? But no, that's a good result for Southampton. Villa need to wake themselves up for the cup final. Obviously, I mean, as the day of recording, they've got the cup final on Sunday against City, the Carabao Cup.
They need to be really careful that it doesn't. They don't do a Watford
or Birmingham City. Remember Birmingham won the League Cup against Arsenal, and then they got relegated that season.
Yeah, but
that was quite a long time ago.
But Birmingham aren't as Villa.
Yeah,
and also not Man City. So
no, but
I think potentially, it could be an absolute smacking from Man City.
Could be.
I mean, obviously, by the time this comes out, obviously the game will be done. But yeah. Okay, so we can move on to Leicester City, which would have been like it battle of the top two really, or the top four really. I mean, obviously they were both fighting out to try and get us for the league title, but City got that 1-0 win. I think it was Jesus who scored, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it sub, wasn't he? He didn't come off the bench and score.
It was late in time.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, City haven't really let the issues with FFP really affect them too much. I mean,
well, it can't do because if for some reason it doesn't go through, and they do get Champions League football, they do want to be as high up in the table as possible.
Yes, they don't get drawn out of obviously drop out as well. I don't think they would anyway, but you don't want to be dropping off in the top four either way. Obviously, City ended up getting the win over Real Madrid as well in the Champions League, which was a mad game.
You know what though, Man City are how many points behind Liverpool?
22.
Yeah, you're right there.
Does this finally show? And Real Madrid are top of La Liga.
Yeah.
Does this finally show that how La Liga has dropped off massively by the quality of players?
Definitely.
Yes.
I think it was since I think it started when we beat Barcelona in the semi-final. That's when it's gone down for La Liga. The quality of players like Ronaldo's gone now.
Hazard hasn't really been
not really done it for him yet. He's been injured more time. He's been the same amount of times injured at Real Madrid in his whole time there than he was at Chelsea, which is crazy.
It is a real shame. For me, I think Hazard at Chelsea was a big fish in a small pond, but now he's
probably too big for him. Yeah,
in an ocean at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and we might be proved wrong in the future. If he makes that step up, but
yeah, who knows? Who knows?
I'll say 1-0 City. Leicester recently, just quick word on them, struggling a bit for form, but they've got Norwich this evening, so I'm expecting to get 3 points there.
But they need to be careful because
they've
got teams knocking on the door.
Vardy's not been scoring enough either. He seems to have a bit of a barren spell really in front of goal. I mean, I think he's still the top scorer in the Premier League, but I think players like Aubameyang are catch. Well, yeah,
caught him up.
There you go. Then Aubameyang's caught up with him. So
obviously
they need goals Leicester at the moment, and Vardy's not scoring them.
Speaking of quick word on Norwich, obviously I know they're playing now, but last week I was at the game Wolves Norwich with my dad.
How was the game? So we've got an insight of how the game was.
To be fair, I mean, obviously, I'm obviously a United fan, but obviously Wolves, obviously, cause I live down the road from. Obviously, I was asked if I wanted to go, and I thought, well, obviously I'm going to go watch it because it's they're a good footballing side.
Oh yeah, football.
You're going to go watch football matches, aren't you? So I thought, I'll go and watch it. And obviously, like. I like them to do well because obviously a local team. Mostly, other than when they play Man United, most of the games, if they win, that's good because obviously you want to see.
Yeah, we don't have a hate for Wolves. Like,
no, obviously not.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Wolves. They're a good side, a good team to watch, and it's obviously good to see your local town do well. But obviously, I've been a United fan. Obviously, when they play United, I want United to win. But obviously, what
I was thinking of the game.
Going to the game, I thought the first 10 minutes, Norwich had some good chances, to be fair. Yeah, they did. They had some good half chances. Wolves struggled to get into the game a bit. But then Wolves then really started getting a couple of attacks together, and then Jota scored, and then from then on it was a train session, really. Norwich never really got into it after that. Wolves scored some good goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
that's 2 hat-tricks in a row for Jota now, isn't it?
Yeah, he scored 2.
Scored 2. Jimenez scored the other one.
I'm sure he scored 2 consecutive.
No,
he scored a hat-trick against Espanyol in the first leg, but I think he scored 2 against Norwich.
Yeah, but
either way, Jota's been on some mad form. I mean, he's a good player, but obviously he can be like hot and cold, like similar to Hazard in some ways, but.
I'll tell you the story.
That's why he's not he's still a brilliant player, obviously. But
I remember when Jota first came to Wolves when I was stewed in there, and he's one of those players that just sick to watch live. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
I remember on his debut, he was like a breath of fresh air, and he still is at the end of the day. And I think if he can get those scoring numbers up, he can have that season that. Many top players have that as scoring for fun at the end of the day.
I know he's been struggling with injuries as well because he's not on come back from an injury, and he was out for quite a bit of the season. But
injuries are such a shame for players.
It can affect it can affect form, it can affect anything really. But no, it was a good win for Wolves anyway.
Next game, just talking about that was Man United against Watford, 3-0 win, which I was actually quite surprised about because I thought it would be a tough game for us.
If I'm gonna hold my hands, I did think we were gonna lose against Watford.
Really?
Yeah. Watford are one of the, for me, like obviously because, well, obviously talk about Bruno Fernandes a bit later when we talk about this game and the Europa League game. But
yeah.
I'm even still now. I'm not used to Bruno like a quality of Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Being at Man United at the moment, and Watford is one of those teams. No offence to Watford, but Watford are one of those teams that we do stiff up against.
Oh yeah,
you did last game, didn't you? You lost to him
2-0.
Exactly.
One of Pearson's first few games. So
obviously we play well, and Fernandes has made a big difference to it. I think he's just get all the players. I think he's just giving them a new energy because he's really hyped up to play.
It's kind of like Van Dijk when he signed.
I was just about to say that for me with Fernandes.
He seems to have got your team up, like, and got some like momentum in for you.
And if I'm gonna say, like, I think you probably agree, Kingy. A lot of people are like jumping on the bandwagon when it comes to being negative about Ollie. But one thing I can say about Ollie that you have to give him credit for, he signed.
He's bought some decent players.
He signed 4 players this season.
I mean, James is a bit of that.
I have to agree. There's only really been Dan James who's struggled for United, really.
But have you said he's struggled? He's come from Swansea.
He's been average.
He had a hot form at the start, and now he seems to have just like slipped away a little bit. Igalo's obviously. I don't.
Not 5 signings. I completely forgot about.
I mean, I don't. The jury's still out on him, and I'm not sure it'll be the right thing for you. But it's early days. It's early days.
I don't want to get too much into United because obviously we've got other things to talk about. But obviously, I think good result. Obviously, we're going to probably have to mention them again. We're going to go through some of the results in the Europa League and Champions League.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, good 3 points. But we've got a big game against Everton this weekend.
We're talking of Everton. Obviously, the last Premier League game of the week was Arsenal-Everton, which was 3-2.
Good game, really good competitive. Scored in the first minute, and Everton really they should have got something from that game because they were more than the match for Arsenal that day. But defensively, both teams both need to be asked questions because defensively they're just not good enough.
The thing is though,
both teams are in transition. We've all obviously Ancelotti's just coming at Everton. Arteta's trying to still get used to Arsenal. They've got to recruit the right defenders. Need to recruit properly, and they need to do squad rehauls really.
Yeah. But honestly, like probably just to finish off with the Premier League, but I think this honestly shows how much Arsenal have dropped off. Because Everton, for me, are at their level. No offence to Everton, full offence to Arsenal, but
Oh God.
but no, for me, at this moment in time, Everton are Arsenal's level, and Arsenal are Everton's level.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Arsenal's a really but they could be a mid-table club if they don't get recruitment right, the people behind the scenes right, signings right.
So they've had problems with owners, so it's been a big issue for Arsenal fans for a lot of, from what I've seen. Well, I haven't seen too much of them anyway, but I know they've done at their owners.
We'll talk about Arsenal. Might as well start off with about the Europa League.
Yeah, we'll start with the Europa League. Obviously, it was a big
second leg against Olympiacos. They won 1-0 in the first leg.
You know, after watching that, I was expecting a reasonably comfortable home game, but I didn't watch the game. But
I can go through it because I watched it all last night.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Arsenal should have ran away with that game. Honestly, they couldn't finish the chances.
Do you know what this is a prime example of?
Go on.
Cockiness.
Yeah, that's what I think it was John Hartson who said that on the BT panel. He was saying he thought that they thought the game was won.
Did you see Arsenal fans when I put my hands up? Aubameyang's goal,
world class.
World class.
He doesn't deserve to be at Arsenal. He needs to move on.
But did you see Arsenal fans when Aubameyang scored that goal? Obviously, you're going to celebrate like mad, but they celebrate like it was a golden goal and they won the tie.
But to be fair, I thought Arsenal were going to go on and win it. To be fair, after that,
we all did.
It was like 5 minutes to the end of the game. Olympiacos didn't look like scoring at that point.
They're not a bad team.
But they didn't look like scoring on the night. I mean, I know they scored 2 in the end, but they didn't look like scoring throughout the night, other than the chances that they had.
I think Wolves will turn them over.
The Olympiacos.
Well, I'd leave that till the end. The actual score.
I think we should only speak about UK teams.
We'll skip around. Yeah. So I mean, it was a mad game. Arsenal fans should be ashamed of the team. Really, they should have won. Aubameyang's the only good thing to come out of it. Maybe Martinelli. He worked quite hard.
But the thing is, though, I've got a mate who's an Arsenal fan, and his view on Aubameyang. Well, he missed in the last minute, didn't he?
It was quite a lucky thing, to be fair, because I think their keeper. I think there's trying to be a clearance. He deflected off one of their defenders and it fell to the feet of Aubameyang, and he missed from say 5 yards.
And he said that just sums up Aubameyang's career at Arsenal.
Really?
If I'm going to we had a discussion. It was actually today at the time of recording. He said Aubameyang's one of those players he will score 20 goals a season.
Yeah. But
he can score 30, maybe 40 because the amount of chances he misses for Arsenal is absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what it reminds me of? I remember when Ibra was at Man United. He did score 20 odd goals for United.
Missed loads.
But he missed so many chances.
So did Lukaku as well.
Because they know how good he is. They're trying to get him on the ball to try and get the goals that they need to win games.
What his shot
conversion rate. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a strange one because I'd have thought they won, but ultimately they lost to Olympiacos and they've got to move on from it now.
Move on to Wolves. Obviously they did the damage in the first leg, winning 4-0, so I knew they'd make changes for this, but end of the day, they still did enough, scored 2 away goals, so...
You just need to be careful when it comes to, those away games, because, it's not going to be as easy as that.
Their next game is away from home against Olympiacos, which will be difficult, but I still believe Wolves will turn them over, because I just think they've got a lot more quality. But obviously,
our mate Adam Cottrell went to the to join the Wolves massive in Barcelona. Yeah, he, from what I heard, apparently there wasn't that many home fans there.
There's only 14,000.
Oh wait, yeah, sorry. But I think the league, the home support in Spanish football isn't known for bringing in the thousands like English football.
Yeah, I mean, as well. I think the rock bottom of the Spanish league, so. They've been a bit. I think that's the third manager they're on. The current Espanyol manager. So it's been a bit awkward for them, really. But obviously, Wolves got through. They've got Olympiacos. They'll be happy with that. I mean,
would they?
Yeah,
they're a good side. I think they're a good side.
They've had bits of quality. I mean, they've been obviously they're never going to catch Barcelona's level, but it's just what it is, really.
Barcelona.
Because they're both from Barcelona, aren't they?
Olympiacos we're talking about.
Oh, if you're about Espanyol.
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, Wolves will beat Olympiacos. No worries.
Well, I mean, away from I think they might draw, but I think they'll beat them at home.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think like they are lucky that
they're away first.
Yeah, because they can maybe get a draw.
Get some away goals. Get away goals though. Could get some away goals. Get a tie finish.
If you're away at first, it's an advantage because if you can get you go away there with a draw and you can score 1 or 2 away goals.
Obviously, if you've got a good home record and you're known for
rules are
if you can defend well at home as well, then it does help.
Obviously moving on from that, they've got Olympiacos the next round, but
we might as well go on to Rangers. Then you can have your United one after that, because obviously that's the main one.
Rangers really good result for them. Obviously, I remember watching the first leg, Wolves Espanyol, but obviously the Rangers score come up on the goal flash, and obviously I saw Rangers 2-0 down, 2 away goals to Braga, and I thought, this could be real trouble here. But to turn it around like they did, second half 3-2, and then get a really good result away in Braga, you got to give hats off to Steven Gerrard.
I mean, obviously I've got a vested interest in Rangers because, so
we want Rangers to win.
I'd be happy if that would happen. I mean, I'd say they're my favourite Scottish team. I don't have many favourite teams. I'd say Rangers are one of them, even before Gerrard was the manager. But obviously,
I do agree.
I'm more invested now because Gerrard's the manager.
I think it's a great story how Rangers have gone from
Scottish League 2 after the liquidation. Well, it wasn't liquidation, the financial issues. Then they've come all the way back up, and they're
in the Europa League, and they've got one of the best midfielders as their manager, and it's not like he's doing terribly.
No,
the quality.
Celtic are hard to get past. Yeah, I mean they're a brilliant team in Scotland. To be fair to them, but it's hard anyway. But obviously now they've got the Europa League, they could have something maybe over Celtic if they can go as far as possible. I mean they've got Ryan Kent's been their main man as well. He's been brilliant from midfield.
The only worry I do have for Rangers is the next fixture by Leverkusen is a very difficult one. And
that'd be a good game. That would.
It will be a good game.
It's going to be a really good game.
It'll be an interesting game.
But look at the players by Leverkusen. They've got players like Kevin Volland, Kai Havertz,
Leon Bailey.
Havertz, quality.
He'll be in Leverkusen next season.
Hiradeki, is it?
Yeah, Finland international. Yeah. Wendell left back.
Bender. They've got a few good players, so I think this will be so difficult for them. They're obviously one of the teams that the Bayer Leverkusen are like.
But you know what? They've got it in them.
They could,
definitely.
They need to. I think what Rangers need to do is they need to win the game at home and not concede more than 1 away goal. I think if they win like a 3-2 or something like that, it gets anything like that, I think they're in trouble because I think Bayer Leverkusen are more than capable of beating them at home. But obviously Rangers beat Braga away. It's very difficult to predict.
And then we'll quickly mention Celtic as well because obviously they got knocked out to Copenhagen. I mean,
very surprising result.
I'd have thought Celtic were quite comfortable in that in the first leg. So I'm surprised they got knocked out. Ultimately, they bottled it in the end. With
Celtic though, I just don't think they consider Europe as something to think about.
They should do because that as a Celtic manager, that's what you're mainly judged on is Europe. Okay, I know Rangers are doing all right now, and obviously it's a bit more of a challenge. But you know, obviously for the Scottish team, Celtic, Rangers, you're 99% of the time they're always going to finish first and second. Let's have a freakish season.
It's mostly Celtic since Rangers have been relegated all those times.
You always know that. So as a obviously the two big Scottish teams, I think a lot of the fans will always look forward to European games, and I think it's obviously disappointing for Celtic because I think they look forward to playing. Because there are some good teams in the Europa League that you can play, and teams that they can beat.
To be honest, I think this season the Europa League has got obviously it's low down than the Champions League at the end of the day.
Oh yeah,
I think they've got some good teams this season.
There's some good ties. I mean, at the pick of the bunch there, I'd probably say Sevilla Roma.
Oh, definitely.
That is that'll be a really good tie.
Sevilla, the most successful team in the Europa League as well. I think, how many times? Five times. Oh, right. Yeah,
You've also got Eintracht Frankfurt, a very good side. FC Basel, Istanbul,
Inter as well. Inter Milan,
Istanbul, Başakşehir, Copenhagen. Oh, okay, they're not.
No offense to anyone, but I think it is shaping up to be
Interesting tournament to finish off with.
But I think it's finishing off to be like, if ties go everyone's way, a United into final, I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
They should do. They should definitely get far, but there are some good teams in there. So it's not, especially Inter Milan. That's the main one.
I think they're the favourites for me.
But honestly,
Inter Milan, yeah, I do agree.
Some solid players in their team, and I think they'll go all the way.
And there's a lot of ex-United players in there that would want to prove a point.
yeah. Well, I know Sanchez can't play, but.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so obviously, quick mention on Man United's result against Club Brugge. Obviously,
performance.
yeah, good performance, strong performance. I think for the first minute we looked. I
thought it was quite tight at the start. I mean, Bruges had a couple of chances, but
you know what?
Ultimately, once they had their red card, which was a clear red card,
Bennett,
that was the end of it, really.
I'm going to completely disagree with you there.
I
think from.
I watched a bit of the first.
Bruges
the first half.
obviously
they had one chance.
They've had the few chances. Honestly, I think obviously it's Club Brugge. Honestly, it's only 10 men, but I think when you got those kind of games, you need to look at the style of play. And you know what? I was really surprised at the style of play that we were playing. Yeah. It was fast, direct.
Through Fernandes, wasn't it? Fernandes. But Club Brugge, they're not a bad side because at the top of any team that's top of any league's obviously not a bad side. And a lot of people, say, "Oh yeah, I agree." Manchester United, yeah, they should definitely be beating them. But they're no mugs. They're not bad. I mean, they got a couple of decent results in the Champions League. I think they drew against Real Madrid. So decent. Yeah, they didn't get disrespected in that. They obviously finished third, so they obviously did pretty well for that. So they're not a bad side. And obviously, a next game against LSK Linz. Obviously, a team probably not many people have heard of, but yeah, at the top of the Austrian league. Obviously, the best.
You begin an easy draw, though. I think.
Yours
is the easiest of all the English teams by a mile.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, British teams.
It is definitely a draw that I'm happy about, but I don't think it'd be easy because they are.
No, I think you'll walk it. Not gonna lie. I mean, if you don't walk it, there's a big issue, but you'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, we can move on to Champions League now.
No, for me thinking about, I think we should save Champions League till all the games have been properly completed because
of course, first leg and all. Yeah, no, fair enough.
But I think probably to finish off, I think we should talk about the new Premier League Hall of Fame that the Premier League had introduced, and so just to get the main information about that, I think it's all talk at the moment. I think next month the Premier League are to introduce a Hall of Fame to look at the best players and managers. So
obviously, because the league's been going since 1992. I mean, for a lot of people, they're saying, football started in 1992, but yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? Obviously, I'm trying to think, who would you have in your first choices then?
Well, who? Okay, then. So let's say
I'm going to say I know who you'll start out with.
So I'm going to say we'll start with 2 players and let's say 2 managers who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So, who do you think should be in the
2 players from any team or just any
from
2 players,
when
2
the
managers?
Premier League started? Who should be the first 2? Let's start with the first 2 players. Who you think should be at the?
So you got the whole you got from 1992 till now.
Defenders or just anyone?
Anyone?
Who you think should be
in there?
Yeah. The first 2 players that they introduce.
I'm gonna go for 2 managers.
Well, 2 players.
No, keeps to the players first. Jeez. Who's gonna be managers? Those players. Do you want me to come back to you?
No,
you seem like you're struggling.
No. I'm gonna go with Sergio Aguero.
Okay.
Because I just think.
Okay, you know what, it's your...
Bear in mind this is from 1992, but okay, go on.
I think Sergio Aguero should be in there, because I think he's out of all the strikers that have been in that time, personally I think he's probably one of the best, if not the best.
Okay, interesting.
And secondly, I'm going to go with...
Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to stop you there, because I think, just quickly reading up on it...
Go on.
That to be retired.
So Aguero's not retired, he's still playing.
Okay then. Okay, I'll change it. I'm going to go with Thierry Henry.
Okay.
I'd have probably gone for Henry as well.
Henry, because as a retired, I couldn't think of it. In his prime as a striker, he was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to go for. Well, okay, still playing. I'm gonna go for Peter Schmeichel.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper. Very probably one of the best keepers in the Premier League since the league's been formed. Anyway,
retired. You got, if you think about goalkeepers that retired, you got Schmeichel,
Petr Cech now,
Van der Sar, Lehmann.
A question: This Hall of Fame, is there something to it? Is it like a team being set up, or is it just
it's just players who've been retired.
Yeah. People are making a list of it.
I'm going to go on a mad reference here, but you know the WWE, how they do a Hall of Fame for their like wrestlers. They'll do that. That's literally. I'm assuming it's going to be like that. They'll have the players and the managers. Obviously, it's similar to how WWE do theirs. I'm guessing, but yeah, that's probably how that will work. I mean, do you want me to do mine now?
Yeah.
So, I'll go for my first player will be a striker as well. We got to go Alan Shearer, surely.
I completely agree.
Record goal scorer in the Premier League. I think it's 260, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will anyone beat that? I doubt it. I mean, not for a long time anyway.
I think it's completely impossible.
I mean,
Harry Kane, you could argue, but it's like you start to see injuries coming into play.
It what happens to any strikers at times. So, I mean, won the Premier League title with Blackburn Rovers. Newcastle legend. What else can you say more about him? Really? I mean, I'm trying to think his best goal though. I mean,
for me, Everton.
Everton. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember that one.
You don't remember that one?
Hang on, I was quite a young kid back then.
No, but he wasn't born. No, he was born yet. But,
yeah, I was. Yeah.
I'm sure it was headed in, and then Shearer on the volley.
Oh no! I remember it now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was a brilliant goal.
Who did the second player be?
Alberto Moreno.
I'm gone. He's not retired. And he's in Spain.
Anderson.
No, not Anderson.
Van Dijk.
No, come on. I've got him now. Right. This is going to be Liverpool biased. I'm going to say Gerrard. Everyone's going to complain, he's not won anything in the Premier League. He's not won a title.
Exactly. No, but the thing is, though, for me...
He's still a legend.
How can you be a Premier League legend if you haven't won... How can you be the first two Premier League... first two, they say, without winning a Premier League title?
This isn't who's going to be announced first. This is going to be who I think should be in there. Because everyone knows that Alex Ferguson is going to be in there. It's a given. Everyone knows that Ryan Giggs is going to be in there.
The thing is that...
Or John Terry.
You know what? I don't think they're going to pick Ryan Giggs first,
Why wouldn't they?
I think because the background stuff that's been linked with Ryan Giggs will actually affect how they pick the Hall of Fame.
It might affect Wayne Rooney then for what he's done, or John Terry.
No, but I don't think he'll be the first.
I doubt it.
To be quite honest, like I can see them going with someone like Gerrard first. To be quite honest, or Lampard.
I don't think he will. I mean, ultimately, this isn't what's going to. I doubt this will be the actual one. This will be the first two. Well, the first is it 4? Did you say?
It's first. It'll be. I think they're releasing 2 players first.
2 players. So no managers at the moment then.
I think managers are just what's it called? Just people are thinking they're gonna have managers in.
Oh, I guess if it's just players, then yeah, okay. I mean. Okay, Gerrard's not won a league title. Obviously, there's memes where he slipped up in the in when he could have had his best chance of winning it. Blah blah blah. But he's still led Liverpool to high league finish it, or that you've been on the verge of winning league titles. He scored some brilliant goals throughout the Premier League years.
I agree. Like he will be on the list, for certain.
He's one of the best midfield players in the Premier League of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, I'm gonna be a bit controversial. He's better than Scholes and Lampard too. What can you say? Come on now. I know you'll get some daft sod in the comments going, "Oh, Lampard's a better goal scorer," or "Paul Scholes was an important cog to the Man United machine." It's his opinion. At the end of the day, guys, it's just what it is.
How many medals did Gerrard win? None.
Doesn't matter.
How many Scholes win?
It doesn't matter.
Loads. And he did Lampard. Yeah,
Paul Scholes didn't win games single-handedly.
Yes, he did. Yes,
not as many as Gerrard.
Yeah, but
or Lampard.
When you've got a team that was as weak as Liverpool was.
As our teams in the past, Gerrard has been in some weak Liverpool teams. That's why he's so good.
That's why
Yes.
That's why his back was hurting him because the amount of times he carried Liverpool.
That's why he should be in this Hall of Fame. He probably will be in the Hall of Fame for this.
Eventually he will, obviously. But for me, the first two players that should be in the Hall of Fame should be the highest appearance maker and
the top goal scorer. I don't disagree with you, to be fair. But this is like say this is like 2025 and like. Or who will be next, or Gerrard's not in it, or Lampard, or Scholes. Or,
yeah, but the thing is that, but like with Giggs, I'm sorry. There's one record that no person will do what Ryan Giggs did, to score in every Premier League season.
He was in, yeah. Fair enough, fair play to him. I'm not disputing it. Giggs probably will be in there, up at the top level, like in the Hall of Fame. So
obviously, you said your two players.
Go on, Ethan. Yours,
obviously.
Yeah, Giggs and Shearer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, obviously, because we've been going on for long, I'm going to go through the managers quickly. So my two managers for the Hall of Fame. A quick reason why. Obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson's got to be the one.
I can't. You can't really disagree with that.
The reason why I say that is just won titles, what he did and what he's done to turn United, from miles behind Liverpool in terms of trophies to catch them up. Obviously, and other stuff he's won as well, and how he's some of the leagues he's won with teams that weren't even that good, to be honest with you.
To take what Fergie did with Man United will never be done.
No,
ever.
I mean, he could get close.
I agree. I mean, he built two brilliant teams. The 90s team was brilliant, and then the one in the late 2000s, up until say 2012, I'd say that Man United team.
And the other manager I'm going to say might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to go Jose Mourinho. And now the reason why
I would say it's controversial, to be fair, he probably deserves to be in there.
And the reason why I say that is when he first started in the Premier League, he was fantastic. He won games. He was so hard to beat. Chelsea played really good football. The team he had as well. Some of the players he signed. And obviously when he came back as well, he did really well there for the first two seasons. However, since then, he's obviously had that. I think he had that one good season under United where they finished second. Since then, it's been difficult for him. Obviously, as he's got older, because his football's become more outdated. But 10, 15 years ago, the football and stuff he was playing with, you can't. For me, there's a lot of contenders. I mean, I could easily say Klopp. Klopp was for me on there.
Not yet. He once he wins the league, then he's up for debate. Then I'd say
Guardiola possibly as well. Wenger. You can't really rule Wenger.
I'm going to say Wenger on mine.
I think it'll probably be Fergie and Wenger, but I think a massive, probably just to conclude on, I think the manager if under Fergie for me that should do it is Claudio Ranieri. And at the end of the day,
one season wonder.
No, Wenger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll be on there just for that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
For me though, I'd say if I just did you say your two managers? You said Fergie and Ranieri.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd say one of them for me is Wenger. He was Fergie's biggest challenger, I'd say, for me. Mourinho had that 2-season spell where he was like that, but I'd say for a good 5-6 seasons, Wenger was fighting Fergie for the best manager in the Premier League. I mean, obviously he had his unbeaten season at Arsenal, which might be beaten by Liverpool, but you can't take that away from Wenger. It's the first time that's happened in the Premier League era. So he signed some brilliant players. He introduced a lot of things that a lot of Premier League clubs do now, like in terms of diet and training.
Oh yeah.
He's quite a revolutionary guy, to be fair to him, and I think he's been given a hard time in the latter years of his time at Arsenal.
I think he should have retired a lot more early than he did.
Yeah, I mean he did wear his welcome a bit, but you can't take anything away from him. He's a brilliant manager and quite and really revolutionary.
So,
and I've got one more manager. Sorry, it's hard because who else can you say really? I mean,
well, you said Fergie and Wenger. That's two.
I thought because Ethan already mentioned Fergie.
If you've got an honourable mention, you can.
Honourable mention. I don't know. It's hard really. I mean, you could say Rafa Benitez. I know he's not really. That'd be quite a long time.
What?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
He's done all right. I wouldn't say.
I'm not 100% sure who else you could put as a manager. Really, it's quite tough.
Yeah, that's probably what we said. It's probably what we're gonna.
Dalglish.
Yeah, we've got Blackburn to a lead. Yeah, you got a point. Yeah, Kenny Dalglish. Yeah, I mean, it was when they had the second ever Premier League winners. Or did Arsenal win it before Blackburn? I'm not sure.
No, I think Blackburn won.
Yeah, Dalglish was the only next other manager to win the league. Yeah, got a good team with Blackburn.
There's
So
only one manager that deserves to be above everyone else.
Who?
It's Frank de Boer.
we'll have to
Absolute
sacked
amazing
after a couple
record.
of games, yeah.
100% defeat record. No other manager ever had that.
I think Big Sam, mate.
Yeah. But anyway, but obviously jokes aside.
That should be it for that.
That it?
Yeah.
Just about, yeah. Okay.
Long episode again.
So basically, want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm obviously sorry about no video camera this week. We're hoping to have it up and running again next week.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're not sure what the topic's going to be next week, but we'll be roughly around about this. FA Cup, actually, might be able to mention the FA Cup. But yeah, obviously, let us know who your two players in the Hall of Fame.
And two managers as well.
Yeah, and your two managers as well.
And if you've got any topics you want to talk about for future podcast episodes, put them in the comments on YouTube and
or our Instagram or Twitter pages.
Exactly. You know, if you've got any ideas and you obviously want to share, you know, we're always checking the comments and open to ideas, and you know, we obviously like to hear feedback, and it's very helpful to us because
and also like and subscribe.
Yeah,
I want 100 subscribers.
We want more subscribers, mate.
We don't want to be begging for them. We want
yes,
we
are
we are. We want subscribers.
Yeah, no, but
we're not going to lie to the viewers or the listeners.
We don't want to beg. Because obviously, the main thing is we want people to enjoy the podcast, and I think if they
but
if they enjoy it, then they'll subscribe. So obviously, that's what we're doing. We're hoping the quality of content we're giving you is good. So anyway, obviously, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. So it's bye from George.
Goodbye.
Ethan.
See ya.
And it's goodbye from Alex, and we'll see you next week.
You've been watching the Bench Podcast with George, Ethan and Alex. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be at Anfield, where we are hoping for another miracle like Istanbul. Shaqiri, in his own half, rolls it square towards Matip. Mistake, Mane into the area. Great skill, Henderson's in the box. Henderson, save
City celebrating. The party really is just getting started. I've had to wait a very long time.